The title of this video is called Seasons, and a lot of things have happened. There's been some YouTube drama on here, and I won't get into that, with some of the truckers that are out there. There's been other things that happened and some situations that kind of rekindled some old thoughts and experiences that I had from my corporate life and from my Christian life and from my personal life. And so, and even in the life of people who've been in my life, people that were at one point what I call friends, okay? So I'm gonna deal with this under the word called seasons, okay? And I'm gonna put, a Christian scripture up. It's from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and it talks about seasons, okay? Because there's the seasons that we have as far as our earth, and when we plant, when we sow, when we grow, and go in seasons with winter, summer, fall, spring. So we have those seasons, and during those seasons, things happen. Some things bloom, some things die, some things go away. Well, our life is the same way, okay? And a lot of people don't understand it. There's a correlation in how God actually set all this up, in my opinion, okay? So you may have, my corporate background is very diverse. I'm not one of those people who stayed at a company for 15 years, and God bless you. If that's what the season and the road that God had you go, that's fine. The gentleman that I'm going out to train with has been with the company, I think he said close to 20 years. Most people don't stay with startup companies that long, and some do, some don't. So his season and his time in his career as a driver, it sounds like he's going to retire out at this particular company. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But some of us, we have seasons in situations and seasons of people that come in our life, and then times when that friendship dies off, or it dissipates. It basically, like water, it evaporates, and those friendships end, or you lose contact. I had some very good friends. I had a friend of mine who stayed with me numerous times, like a brother to me, and had a lot of family issues when he was in his younger days, in his 20s, after getting out the military. And he came and crashed out with me several times during family issues. And then he finally moved from Arizona. We kept in contact a little bit, but over time we lost contact. And last time I saw him was back in 2000, and I think it was around 2011, somewhere in there. And he had returned to Arizona from Florida. And you have seasons. He lost the friendship. So it's the same in anything, in business, in careers, in sometimes even family relationships. We have seasons, and I think it's hard because as humans and as people, especially as you start getting older, we don't like change. We just don't like change. We don't like change. Um, we don't want change. I've had seasons in churches that I've worked in, going in, helped out in the church, and then gone. If something transpires, it's time to move on. It's the same with business. It's the same with jobs. It's the same with careers. It's the same with companies. It's the same with experiences. Sometimes it's the same in relationships. Um, Seasons. And we have a season on this planet from birth to death to do whatever we're supposed to do and to have experiences. So, I this weekend I sat back and I was like, Lord, okay, this is a new season, okay? And I was ending a season at a previous company that I was with in healthcare, and I had to decide what is it that I feel led to do from my season now, hopefully, if this is God's guidance, from where I'm at now to when I retire. So when I tell you guys to work your plan, I put together in my mind, and I didn't really write it out. You always need to write some things out. I did not write out really what I wanted to do. Since I've been down with the fracture, and I told a friend of mine I thought this happened for a reason. I believe that God kind of directed me to get my focus straight on what my goals were with my ministry calling, with going back into transportation, with my retirement and buying property, and what my next step was. What I did know is that I wanted to own where I had my dirt. I didn't really have a plan on how to get there, and it's critical, that we do that because we have a season in which to do things. But don't be shocked when your seasons, and I don't use this, I don't use seasons, let's switch it to situations change so you can move into your next season or move into your next situation, okay? I'm trying to do a correlation for you guys. And I'm sorry, I have to use the camera on the webcam because the cell phone is uploading video for my perk group right now, so I'm using this camera. So don't be shocked when you have those seasons that happen where you then have to change, switch. And sometimes if you're unwilling to move, you're unwilling in your heart to move forward, God will allow circumstances and situations to come up to get you to move, to kind of push you out your seat. So we become maybe sometimes attached to states, to where we live, to where we work, to family, relationships, to intimate relationships with people, to friend relationships. And sometimes God has to move you to break that relationship to grow you. That's really the key. So when you're attached to those situations and you stay attached, then God will allow things to happen to move you. Sometimes you have to step back in order to go forward, and you don't even understand why you're stepping back. So like me, I had to come back to an older company to rebuild an old skill for driving, and then I have to make a decision. Is this, where I'm going to do my lease purchase? Am I going to look at something else? I'm going to do it outside the company. How am I doing this? And I'll revisit that when it comes up, but right now I've got to focus on just building my skill back up in order to become, and I'm not saying I'm not competent, but in order to get my mojo back and to get the experience more updated, because they need a recent updated before I go to anywhere, any other company, updated so that I can then make the necessary moves in order to position myself for what I feel God is positioning me for. Okay. So when you look at your life, understand that there are seasons. And I hear people. I was listening to someone this weekend who was talking about friends. This friend did that, and that friend did this, and this friend. Don't worry about it. I've gotten to the point. Don't worry about it. People are going to do stuff that you're not going to agree with. People are going to say things. Friends, family, whoever, everybody does it. And sometimes it's meant to arise and say, okay, you know what? We were friends at one point, but now it's time to move on. We had a season together. There were some blessings out of that season, but it's time for me to move on. And that's what people don't tend to understand, is that seasons happen in all areas of life, from us planting, sowing, and reaping in the ground for food, from relationships. I mean, even families. I'm going to use my best friend. When she got out of high school, she decided to sign up for the military. She had a father who didn't try to keep her at home, which I think is phenomenal, because you have some parents that don't want to let their kids go and let them grow. But her father was like, get on out the nest, go do what you got to do. It's going to help you grow up. It's going to help you become an adult. And so she went to the military, my best friend. That, for me, I believe, is a lifelong friendship. It's a season where we're going to have from the beginning of the season all the way to winter in our lives, and we'll die friends because we talk to each other almost every day, if not every other day. And even though we're long distance, that friendship has lasted our life. And her father predicted that. I mean, it was really strange. He predicted that from when he met me in my teenage stages. Some friendships are going to be lifelong. Some friendships are going to be spring. Some friendships are going to be summer. And that's it. That friendship is over. Some relationships, they're going to last, a year and then they're over. It's some of our corporate careers. I mean, there's companies I've worked at that's, oh, I'm gonna retire from this company, and things happen and it cuts it off. And I don't realize till later that God did me a favor in doing the things He did and allowing the situations to happen the way they happened, because it opened me up to other experiences that otherwise I would not have done. And like, I wouldn't have seen all of the U.S. had I not gone through a corporate experience. And I could have went back into another corporate job, but I was like, no, I need to follow this unctioning in me to do something. Coming back into transportation, with a new outlook, with a focus, with a plan, to be in control of my destiny, to own. And it's not a get rich scheme. I know there's some people on here that want to be, they want to own fleets, and God bless you if that's what God has given you, good. That's not my goal. My goal is to make enough money to put it away, to buy my property, and to stack dollars and investment in order to set myself up to be retired within 10 years. And if I can do it in less time, that's what I'm going to do. I got a 5-year plan to purchase a truck, and 10 years to run in that. That includes the purchase time of the truck, to run and to make the money I need in order to set up my retirement, own my property, put my house up, establish the property the way I want for retirement, have my vehicles paid, and basically be debt free in my retirement. I don't really want to be, because I don't know that Social Security is going to be there for me when I reach, whatever retirement age, 60, whatever. I don't know that it's going to be there for me. And, I'm looking at friends of mine coming out of trucking right now who, did not have a plan, and they're living on the system. And right now, if our government tanks, you got all these old people who are going to be put out. The plus about my father's job is that he is under a pension, through the railroad, so he gets good money, like $3,800 a month, just to survive, around that $3,800 a month. And you look at the old people, I tell them how blessed he is. You don't realize how blessed you are in conjunction to people your age who don't, they're living on $1,500 a month, and they're living on housing assistance, and they're living on food stamps, and they're dependent on the government even for their health care, and they're not getting the best health care. While you may have to pay a little bit extra, you have more than enough coming in, to supply your needs. You are blessed, and most people your age aren't going to be blessed. So like that, I'm looking at my aunt who's a school teacher. Granted, she's comfortable. She has investment properties, but she went back to work. Um, just because she does have debt still, and she's paying stuff down. Guys, guys and girls, listen to me. And granted, she probably doesn't have to. I think also she's bored, but I think, that's one thing I like about her. She'll work regardless. But she's an educator, she's a teacher. Position yourself well and be prepared for your seasons, and listen to God in seasons. One thing I did in my younger days, and I sometimes don't ever second guess your gut. If your gut is telling you to do something, follow your gut. Follow your first mind. That's kind of how this happened, but it's okay. Everything's meant to happen. And God is trying to teach me to follow what He's putting in my spirit. And I'm starting to do that. Anyway, I don't mean for this to be long. Seasons. Be blessed. And I don't know, I don't know if I'm putting anything inspirational at the end. I have to see what I have. Peace.
The one thing I notice about a lot of people is and I keep saying this over and over, they're afraid to change. They keep going back to their old ways of doing things because that's what they're used to. Things that are rigid, that don't want to change, they snap eventually. Something that's really hard is going to snap when the pressure gets too much. Whereas something that flows and bows in the wind and with change, it adapts. And those are the things that last. So I suggest, if you really want to make it in life, learn to adapt. Learn to be open-minded to new things, new concepts, new ways of doing things. I know that the older you get, the harder it is to do that. But that's what survives, those who adapt. And those who say, I'm not changing anymore, I'm just going to be the way I am. Fine, enjoy your life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Just realize you're limiting yourself and your time on this earth. And this, again, there's nothing really necessarily wrong with that. But if you want to live long and experience lots of things, stick around for a while. And this is like success not just with health, but with business, with pretty much anything. So things that flow. And what's the most flowy thing out there? Water. Take water for an example. Water is the most adaptive substance there is. I mean, it will find the tiniest little hole and escape. And if there is no hole and it is stuck, it will turn itself into a gas and go out that way. It'll turn itself from liquid into a gaseous state and escape as water vapor. It's an amazing stuff. It adapts to pretty much any situation it can, and then it just reforms somewhere else. It'll turn into a gas, go somewhere else, and then reform back into water again. And there's just as much water on the planet now as there was 1 billion years ago when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. It's been around forever. It's the most adaptive substance there is. So let's learn from water. It flows, it goes, it might have to make some turns, it might have to go through some nasty stuff. And the other cool thing about water is no matter how toxic it becomes, it can always be turned back into pure dihydrogen oxide, H2O. And you, no matter how toxic your life is, no matter how much garbage you've accumulated, you can cleanse yourself and become reformed somewhere else. Now, I know the ultimate way of looking at that is you could die and then reform as something else. That's one way of doing it. Or if you want to stay a human being alive on the planet for a while, adapt, flow, learn from water. Okay, that's your lesson for today. I mean, I'm talking about success here, not just with health, but with business and life. If you want to live the good life, it took me a while to figure this out. It took me over 50 years to figure this out. And I'm sharing this with you because I don't want this to happen to you. I don't want you to have to go 50 years like I did and then finally figure out, I wish I knew this. That's why I wrote the pocketbook, Instructions for a New Life. You don't have to read it, but that's why I wrote it. It's not a money maker for me. Look, I make $1 off of it. It's a paperback. I'm helping you guys. Everything. That thing should be the Bible for life. Now, I'm not talking about the God thing. I'm talking about these are the rules that you should follow to be successful in life. To do some basic stuff you need to know. Like don't eat this poison. Try that. That's good. Basic stuff you should know that they don't teach you. They teach you stupid stuff. How many people know algebra? I mean, how far is that going to get you in life? Anyway, so I want you to live the good life too, so learn to flow and adapt, be open, and be flexible. Don't be rigid. Rigid things snap, they break. Lesson for the day. Have a good one. See you around.